So we feel great about tonight, not only in winning here in Indiana and accumulating some more delegates, but also gaining the momentum we need to take us to the finish line.
I want to thank and congratulate the Republican National Committee and Reince Priebus, who I just spoke to. Not an easy job when he had 17 egos, and now I guess he's down to one. I don't know. Is there a second? Is there a second? I don't know.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and New York billionaire Donald Trump both handily won the Indiana primaries on Tuesday, May 3rd, securing over 50% of the vote. Texas Senator Ted Cruz was knocked out of the Republican contest after Indiana became the latest string in defeats by the Republican frontrunner.
With a heavy heart, but with boundless optimism for the long-term future of our nation, we are suspending our campaign.
Trump, who has drawn wide condemnation for racist rhetoric and for inciting violence at campaign rallies, is all now but assured his party's nomination. Former Chief of Staff to Colin Powell, Colonel Larry Wilkerson, describes Cruz as a candidate backed by the 1%.
What I would call, in two simple words, wealth defense. That is to say, we know that there are 400 Americans whose combined wealth is equal to the GDP of Brazil. We know that the not 1%, let's don't even talk about the 1%, that the 0.001% of Americans who are the wealthiest more or less dictate policy in this country.
The Sanders win in the Democratic contest defied polls and many TV pundits. By winning Indiana, the Vermont senator continues a trend of dominating open primary states, where voters can participate in the primaries regardless of their party affiliation.
So I sense a great deal of momentum. I sense some great victories coming. And I think that while the path is narrow, and I do not deny that for a moment, I think we can pull off one of the great political upsets in the history of the United States, and in fact become the nominee for the Democratic Party. And then once we secure that position, I have absolute confidence that we are going to defeat Donald Trump.
Meanwhile, the Clinton campaign appears to have shifted focus on taking on Trump. But Sanders continues to highlight polls showing him beating Trump by wider margins than Clinton.
And I think that according to every poll that I have seen in the last month, Bernie Sanders defeats Donald Trump in the national polls by greater margins than does Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders beats Donald Trump by greater margins than Hillary Clinton in battleground state after battleground state after battleground state.
In a speech on Sunday, Sanders laid out a plan to win the nomination if Clinton is unable to clinch it outright during the primaries. Convinced superdelegates pledged to back Clinton to support him instead. But the move has been criticized by some who even support the Sanders campaign, including former White House counsel to Bill Clinton, Bill Curry.
I think it's the wrong rationale. And I think a better argument to make right now is not that the unpledged delegates may vote for Bernie Sanders, but rather that the unpledged delegates have no business voting at all. And in particular, the 454 out of the total 714 unpledged delegates, the 454 are unelected, unaccountable Democratic National Committee members who, in fact, far from being trustees of their party, have allowed rules to be broken all year in order to facilitate the Clinton campaign. They made their commitment to Clinton before the race even started. She had almost all of them locked up before a single actual vote was cast.
From The Real News, this is Jessel Noor.